You've heard his name. You've seen his paintings. But what if I told you? Leonardo da Vinci was more than a painter. He was a man so ahead of his time, the world still hasn't caught up. Born out of wedlock in a quiet Tuscan town, Leonardo di Ser Piero da Vinci should have been forgotten by history. No noble title, no formal last name. Just Leonardo from Vinci. And yet, from the shadows of rural obscurity, he would claw his way into eternity. This isn't a story about art. This is a story about obsession, about genius forged in isolation, about a man who refused to fit the mold because he designed the mold. The year is 1452. Vinci, Italy. Leonardo is born to a respected Florentine notary and a peasant woman, an illegitimate child with no claim to wealth or title. But what he did have was curiosity, a hunger that would never be satisfied. As a boy, he stared at birds, at trees, at light hitting water, not just watching, studying. By the age of 14, he was sent to Florence to apprentice under the master craftsman Andrea del Verrocchio. There he learned everything: metalwork, sculpture, drafting, painting. But most of all, he learned how to see. He didn't just draw the world, he decoded it. And when Leonardo painted an angel in Verrocchio's Baptism of Christ, the story goes that the master, upon seeing his pupil's work, put down his brush and never painted again. Florence couldn't contain him. Leonardo's talents exploded beyond the canvas, into machines, anatomy, architecture, warfare. He sketched flying machines centuries before the Wright brothers. He designed bridges that modern engineers still study. He dissected corpses in secret to map out muscles and bones, producing anatomical drawings so precise doctors today still reference them. But brilliance came at a cost. Leonardo was chaotic, restless. He would vanish from projects, leave commissions unfinished. Patrons grew frustrated. The Adoration of the Magi never completed. St. Jerome, incomplete. His notebooks, thousands of pages of genius, but never published in his lifetime. His mind was too vast, too wild to stay tethered. And yet, when he did finish a work, the world changed. In Milan, under the patronage of Ludovico Sforza, Leonardo hit his stride. He painted, he sculpted, he engineered pageantry and city defenses. He planned entire ideal cities. But even here, perfection was a curse. When tasked with painting the Last Supper, Leonardo refused fresco techniques. He experimented with oil on dry plaster, a bold move and a fatal one. Within years, the masterpiece began to decay. But what remained, what still remains, was revolutionary. 12 men, 1 traitor, and a silence so loud it echoes through time. As the 1400s gave way to the 1500s, Leonardo wandered, back to Florence, then Milan again, then Rome. He observed everything, wrote endlessly, invented tirelessly. But the world around him moved slower than he did. His ideas, flying machines, diving suits, machine guns, were simply too advanced, too foreign, too impossible for now. He grew older, grew tired, and when King Francis I of France invited him to court, Leonardo accepted. In the twilight of his life at Château du Clos Lucé, the master rested. On May 2, 1519, Leonardo da Vinci died in Amboise, France. But his legend had only just begun. Death did not silence Leonardo. It only amplified him. His notebooks, scattered, untranslated, nearly lost to time, began to surface. Thousands of pages, ideas etched in mirror writing, observations of water flow, muscle structure, plant life, planetary motion. Pages that whispered of a mind that had seen the future and tried to drag it into the present. It was only centuries later that the world realized what it had overlooked. This man, this illegitimate child from Vinci, wasn't just a painter. He wasn't just an engineer. He wasn't just a scientist. He was a universe all his own. Among all his gifts to humanity, 2 paintings stand above the rest, not for their size or their fame alone, but for what they revealed. First, the Virgin of the Rocks. Here, Leonardo gave us more than beauty. He gave us depth, sfumato, a foggy softness between light and dark that mimicked how the eye truly sees. He painted the Holy Family not on a pedestal, but in a cave, human, earthbound, real, and yet divine. Then came her, the Mona Lisa. She's not just a woman, she's a question, a riddle, a mirror. Her smile, barely there, yet impossible to forget. Her gaze, following you across a room, across centuries. Every brushstroke a whisper from Leonardo's soul. Every shadow, a secret he took to the grave. She became the most famous painting on earth. And he, the most enigmatic artist who ever lived. Leonardo's influence didn't end in galleries. It bloomed in laboratories, design studios, anatomy textbooks, rocket blueprints. He laid the foundation for the scientific method centuries before it had a name. He challenged authority, questioned doctrine, demanded evidence. He believed that truth was found through observation, not tradition. Study the science of art, study the art of science, he once wrote. And he did, obsessively. Even his failures, his unfinished commissions, his deteriorating frescoes, his machines that never flew, proved something vital, that genius is never neat. It's not a straight line. It's chaos. It's fire. It's the courage to chase the impossible even when the world isn't ready. Today, Leonardo da Vinci is more than a name. He is the blueprint of human potential. A man who conquered art, reimagined science, and blurred the line between creation and discovery. His legacy lives in every brushstroke, every invention, every breakthrough sparked by curiosity. And maybe that was his true masterpiece. Not the Mona Lisa, not the Last Supper, not the anatomical sketches or flying machines, but the idea that to be human is to wonder endlessly and to never, ever stop searching. He was born without a name, died without a child. And yet, he gave birth to everything we now call possible. This was the journey of Leonardo da Vinci, and it's far from over.